And we are live. Another Founder Wisdom Pod with Jesus Vargas. Jesus is a cool guy. Found him out through his LowCode/NoCode agency. I reached out initially to a member of his team. He told me I should interview Jesus, and here we are. What caught my attention, this team, is that, Jesus spent some time in Cancun. He still has businesses down there. He's also a member at Hampton, which is a cool mastermind founded by Sam Parr that caught my attention. Really glad to have Jesus on. This podcast brought to you by podpire.com, my company. If you want to start, scale, or be invited to a podcast, get great guests like Jesus, get insights, and even get clients, grow community, get subscribers. So if you want to start a podpire.com. Jesus, glad to have you on. Can you introduce me and the audience to yourself and LowCode Agency?
Sure, happy to do that. My name is Jesus, and I run this business called LowCode Agency. So basically, we build software using no-code and low-code tools. We have like two types of clients, two types of typical projects. One is MVPs. So someone like an entrepreneur who has an idea, they want to try something out. They have an idea for ages. And now with these no-code and low-code tools, it's very easy, cheap, and fast to build these MVPs. A lot of marketplaces and things like that, B2C apps. And then on the other end, we have more corporate clients, mid-sized businesses that want to streamline and automate their businesses. Usually they're growing, they have a lot of their data in like Google Sheet or an Excel file, stuff like that, and they start losing track of visibility. So we build these custom solutions for them and then start automating them in order for them to have visibility and have software work for them. So we build around 100 projects a year. We're like one of the leading no-code agencies out there. We have 16 people on the team. We've worked with Coca-Cola, American Express, Zapier to build solutions for them. However, our typical engagement or our typical client is a growing small and medium businesses.
You have two businesses since 2019. You've also occupied various jobs. So how do you juggle with your time spent, your time investment in between like these startups plus jobs?
So right now I also have another company in Mexico, in Cancun. Actually, it's a solar panel installation company. So nothing like what we do at LowCode. That has been going on a little bit longer and is very process oriented. Everything I do is very process oriented, both at LowCode and at the other company. However, that other company is like growth is pretty flat. So we have figured out we have the right team, and it pretty much is managed by itself, by the team we have in place. While at LowCode, we keep on growing and adding clients and moving upstream. So LowCode requires way more of my time than the other business. So I pretty much spend like 85-90% at LowCode and then 10 to 50% at Solar Panel.
Why did you decide to start a physical company? Because I've tried physical. That was my first business around a decade ago. And I swore I wouldn't return to physical businesses that require shipping, logistics, and humans till I get very, very rich. Or it's almost like a hobby, right? Like selling alebrijes from Oaxaca or selling mezcal could be a cool thing, but it would be more a hobby than like a profitable business. So why did you took that challenge upon you, especially when, well, that's my thought, and you might like correct me if I'm wrong, but like the solar business was probably hot in, I don't know, the 2015s. I remember being in Philippines, in Hong Kong, in Shenzhen around that time, and being like, okay, yeah, there's an opportunity. If you manufacture them in Shenzhen, you have your call centers in Philippines. But nowadays, is there still like an opportunity in that business?
You gotta think that I understand that you're in Mexico and Oaxaca, and then everything in Mexico is like 3 years late compared to the first world, like states and even Southeast Asia and some other locations. So yes, there's an opportunity. You saw probably, especially in the States, it was hot a few years ago because there were a lot of tax credits that are actually starting to end now. In Mexico, that hasn't happened yet. So yeah, there's still an opportunity. It's not a very hot market, but there's still an opportunity.
Yeah, if you want the AirPods, I was just mentioning, the sound is good, but it spikes when you speak too loud, and it blurs kind of. Not sure if you want to try without them. And yeah, Mexico, I mean, yeah, 3 years, sometimes it's more like 5, 10, or 15 years back, like here in Oaxaca. One reason that I stay here and I just love it is that me on this computer, I'm probably like 20, if not 30 years in the future. And here, when I go back to reality, I'm probably in 2005. So
Right.
I just go out at the park, go play basket, enjoy the sun, and it's pockets, right? It's pockets of space time. So if you're in Silicon Valley, well, you live in 2040 most likely. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, and that will change with like AGI. But yeah, that's true. But I mean, on that one, like, did you go with a co-founder? To who do you sell that to? And are you like focused in Cancun because there's a lot of sun there? Because Mexico is known for having lots of sun. Well, I can tell you from a personal experience, but also it rains pretty much every day, right? So they have their sun, but they have their rain. For example, here in Oaxaca, it's the rain season right now. So did you go solo on that one, and why like invest tons, right? Because you need to buy all these solar panels. So it's like, why make that investment and not focus on the virtual businesses that constantly provide cash flow?
I mean, physical business not necessarily don't provide cash flow. I think that in our business model at Solar Panel, we don't have a lot of inventory, so we have a very good relationship with one of the largest distributors, one of the largest, let's say, retailers in the space in the world. It's a German company, actually. So we don't need a lot of inventory, and that makes us very efficient. So we pretty much order each project that we get. We order the product. It's in Guadalajara, so it's just a day or two away. We get it, we install it. So we mainly target private homeowners. At the end, in Mexico, like, solar energy is still expensive for most people. So we target like a very high-end market with a high-end product. We provide a lot of service. We provide a lot of add value around the product itself and the installation. But there's an opportunity. I mean, as you said, in Mexico, there's a lot of sun. At the end, solar panels work with radiation and not necessarily solar light. So even though it's raining, solar panels still produce. So at the end, it's a good investment. If you're looking at the target market we're focusing on, solar panels pay themselves in 3 years, 3.5 years. So if you have the money to invest, whatever, the minimum is like $5,000 right now, five and up. Electricity is way more expensive in Mexico than in other places like in the US. So people are spending $1,000 every couple months on electricity bill, and they can move that to zero by spending whatever, right? So it's still a business that makes sense financially. And we're in a, let's say, niche in a small market where people value the services and the type of product that we sell. And that's it. I mean, at the moment, it was what I could do. Before that, I was working at a company. I was an employee, and I had a lot of problems with a new hire that became the boss. And then I pretty much left, or actually they stopped paying me. So I had to leave and do something else. And that was like the first thing that I could do. I don't have a co-founder, but one of my mentors is in the space, very successful guy, who was like, spend with me a couple of weeks. I'm going to teach you how to do a bunch of things, and then you'll have me on call. And then that's pretty much how that business started.
Right. And that's quite interesting, your background, because you've been in biz dev. Is that like what you focus your time on in the LowCode Agency, closing new clients?
Yes, exactly.
What are your systems with that? Do you use cold email, LinkedIn outreach? How do you get to close new clients, especially when you're talking about a product that starts at 10K a month?
Yeah, so it doesn't start at 10K a month. It starts at 10K per project. The monthly is very low, and in many cases, we don't charge a monthly fee. We just charge for the build, for the initial project. Our sales and marketing is like, we try everything. We've done absolutely not everything. We have to do more things, but we spend a lot. We mainly spend our time with content. So we create a lot of written content, our blog, we have a podcast, we have a YouTube channel, or I have a YouTube channel. So we create a lot of content in order for people to find us. One of the challenges as an agency, and till today, we are not focused on a specific industry or a specific niche. So we pretty much can serve anyone in terms of technological needs. Anyone who wants to automate, streamline their business, anyone who wants an MVP, we can serve them. We've done 300 apps in multiple different industries. So that makes our targeting a little bit harder than the usual, because if you're a software as a service and you sell to HR managers at whatever size companies, you know who your target is. In our case, it's a little broad. So that means that we have to do a lot. So we create a lot of content. We do cold email, email funnels, newsletters. So basically content. Up till today, the thing that has worked out the best is content, because then we make sure that leads are a little bit more warm. They're looking for a solution that we can build, and then it makes the whole funneling and closing process, I don't want to say easy, but maybe easier than just pure cold email, which is a little bit harder.
I love having like thesis behind my agencies. My cold email agency is just like product market fit tests, you know. The product, it aren't like that advanced, the one that I test, whether it's my client or whether it's mine, it's mostly productized services that I'm trying to test and see the interest. But the thesis behind my cold email agency is that I can know exactly what niche is hot right now. When I'm trying to build a laboratory to do that at scale, to create my own startup ecosystem, which a lot of folks advise not doing, right, and focusing on one thing. I'm the other way around. I think, you know, the strength is being a generalist and creating a web of some kind of networks. That's pretty exponential. More on that later. But basically, I want to know on your side, if the no-code agency, because if I would start my no-code agency, that'd probably be my thesis. The fact that I can deploy a beta, a product extremely quick with cool features. Let's call it like 3 top main features. And then I could test it with my cold email lab that I built and almost instantly know if there's a product market fit there. Do you have that similar thesis on your side? Are you trying to build something similar?
We don't build products like our own products. We are very focused on the agency. And I think that building our own products would take my time away from doing what we do, which is serving clients, and pivoting or spending my time on growing or testing these new ideas / businesses, right? So, and I think that eventually, while a lot of agencies end up doing something like that, and we might end up doing something like that eventually. Today, I think that I would rather spend my time working on clients' problems than our own. And that way, there's no conflict of interest. I'm not having my own product, and maybe someone who has an idea on the same space, they might think that I'm competing against them. So for now, we haven't gotten into that. It's something that is getting more popular, as you said, with these no-code and low-code tools, because it's you can test something very quickly with a product and a good cold email outbound strategy. So definitely something to keep an eye on, something that a lot of agencies are doing, especially as a lot of people get burned in the agency world. It's hard and it's very high touch and let's say complicated. So everybody thinks that the SaaS model, the recurring revenue, is like the grass is greener over there, which might be true or not. But anyway, yeah, we do see a lot of agencies going that route.
Grass greener, right? Well, I think in this world, there's no energy loss, you know. Agencies are easier. You get a bit less money and you get a bit less recurring. SaaS, you build a very hard product. You invest tons of times, blood, sweat, and tears. But yeah, you might get more recurring. So everything is kind of equivalent there. I mean, depending on your personalities and various models at play in your current life, if building a SaaS is your thing and it fits your key lock better, then yeah, you might want to go there. In my case, I do think that SaaS is definitely a better fit for me because I'm built to do hard shit, you know, like I want to challenge myself. I like doing so. I'm like a masochist or something. So especially that I'm gonna go on the bootstrap route. I don't believe in VC money. I don't think it's gonna leverage that much in the next couple of years. But yeah, I can understand the conflict of interest here, or just the time. If you invest your time in your client's project, you're obviously going to build something better. What do you think about that question on the grass greener thing? You know, like, what's your opinion on that one?
I don't know. I think it's different things and it's completely different businesses. And that's why I haven't done that, because as an agency, you have one focus, which is building the best possible projects for your clients. And that, and there's a lot behind that phrase, that sentence. When you're building your own products, first you have to try out a bunch of things, then invest money, time, as you said, sweat and tears in order to grow it. Might not work. If it works, you move on to the next thing. So I think it's as you said, a different skill set, maybe. While at the same time, if the product works out, you end up spending a lot of time growing the product, changing the product, rebuilding the product, getting clients, getting feedback. So it's two different. I think it's something that is not as aligned as most people think. And a lot of agencies are like, oh, I do have available resources. A couple of developers are not doing anything. Let's build a product and we'll see if it works out. But then you end up having those two developers working on your product forever. Because something that we've seen with good projects, with projects that scale, our clients' projects that scale, either internal projects or let's say public-facing projects like marketplaces and stuff like that, is that when things work out, these clients keep coming back to us to build additional things. They have to change something, they have to pivot, they have to add a new feature, they have to change something. So something that works out requires, at the end, requires a team, requires a project manager and a developer and a QA person, etc. So something that I'm concerned about is building a product that works out and then the agency is crippled because I'm investing a lot of resources into a product, right? So since I don't want to have that problem, we're focused on the agency, and our clients focus on that other issue of growing their projects while we handle the tech side for them.
You're a member of Hampton. Like, what have you gained out of masterminding with other top folks so far?
So it's a great group of people, very smart people, and from very different places, locations, countries, businesses, business sizes. So you have like hundreds of millions of dollars a year to smaller businesses like mine. So getting to see, for example, what questions people on the 8-figure businesses have or ask, and then our size of businesses ask. So you see a lot of things and you start planning into the future a little bit better. So something important as a founder is surrounding yourself with people who are 2 steps ahead of you. So Hampton gives you that, but also gives you the ability to surround yourself with people who are 100 steps farther away from you. So it's about, let's say, choosing your crowd, but it's a very helpful community, great leaders. And I don't know, for me, it has provided a ton of value.
What about, so like, I have 2 questions following this. What value does the $100 million person at the top gets from these calls is 1. And 2, don't you think it would be better to be in a room with folks that have like somewhat similar businesses to you, like kind of competition?
That happens at Hampton. So actually you have your core group, which is similar sized, similar industry businesses as yours. And then you have like this Slack where everybody is and everybody can ask a question. So you have those 2 tiers. Obviously, probably we're not having calls with 8-9 figure business owners because I can't provide a lot of value for them. And what they tell me is so far away from me that it doesn't make a lot of sense. So they have like this tiered, let's say, way of handling groups and things in order for this to make sense. It's a large group. I think there are hundreds of members already. So yeah, that structure helps a lot in order for us to get the most amount of value from peers who are kind of in the same size, team size, space, industry, etc., as we are.
What about the difference between the two communities that you live in, so Miami and Cancun? Do you mastermind with entrepreneurs from there? And what kind of trends do you see in both ecosystems?
So I don't spend a lot of, let's say, business time in Cancun. I don't have a large network. I have a small network of other business owners. Of course, Cancun is like a very touristy destination. So most people, most business owners are in the tourism industry. But you see, it's interesting to see, and I can say this because I'm Mexican, a little bit, let's say, sad. I'm a little bit disappointed in how business owners look at technology in places like Mexico compared as in the States. In the US, most business owners are looking forward to leverage technology. They're open to more ideas, while other countries like Mexico, Latin America, you see a lot of hesitance and a lot of saying no to the unknown. And that just means that businesses are losing advantages in a global world when businesses from outside of Mexico come and they win quickly. And they're like, why are our US businesses eating our lunch here? And it's because they are using technology, they're using best practices. And on the other hand, you have like local businesses who are a little bit backwards and resistant to change. And that when you compare apple to apple, like the ones that are coming from outside and have all of these, are leveraging AI, no code, or just technology in general, you see that they have a huge advantage over traditional businesses.
Right. Last, no code apps that you're building right now, are they connected with GPT? What have you built that has been connected with GPT and have provided very cool end results for the?
So yeah, everything that we build AI related is connected to OpenAI, with there's different products, either voice, ChatGPT, etc. Right now, we've built in my YouTube, there's a video of an expense tracker that you use to just take a picture of a receipt or an invoice, and it automatically generates like a thing in your database with the time, the amount, the date, the category, all of that. And then as you start adding more receipts and invoices, you can have you can start asking ChatGPT questions about how you spend your money. So pretty cool proof of concept of how to use AI in software.
Love it. Where can people find out more about you and your agency, Jesus?
So our website, LowCode.agency, that's the best way to find what we're doing and see our social media channels and stuff like that.
And I'm Charles Cormier, your host, CEO of podbuyer.com. If you want to start, scale a pod, get invited to podcasts, to get great guests like Jesus, to get insights, to get subscribers and even clients, podbuyer.com.